Hey there, friends. So I've been making records for over 32 years professionally now. And you'd think it'd be pretty easy, right? Not always. So I'm here to share with you some of my insights about that. If you're struggling to record, especially if it's on a regular basis, it may not be that you're doing it wrong. Of course, you want to look at your procedures and how you're setting it up and, get the basics right. But if your fundamentals are there, maybe you're not doing it wrong. You're just approaching it wrong. Because this is what I've found. Whenever I'm struggling, whenever I'm finding it hard to, get a vocal right, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit. I'm having difficulty singing it the way I hear it in my head or the way I think it should be as written, or just something is not correct. Something just doesn't feel right in your recording. Stop what you're doing. Don't bang your head against the wall. The first thing I want you to do is rethink your tempo. Sometimes what feels right to the way you wrote it is not what's best for the song. So that is step one. Rethink your tempo. Rethink your beats per minute. And just play around with it a little. Go up, go down. Maybe you go down a lot and see how it feels a lot slower. Faster, usually not. But just play with it a little bit. And then if it starts to feel good to you, like you're playing along and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that's pretty good. Go and find a loop that is in that tempo. So not just the standard doink, doink, doink click track, because it took me forever in my career to play to that. I can, but I don't want to. I don't think anybody wants to. So find a loop, just a good groovy loop in that tempo. In fact, a lot of DAWs now, if you import something that's pretty close to the tempo, or even sometimes if it's not, it'll make it that tempo. Pro Tools doesn't do this, but Bitwig and Ableton and a few others do. Okay, that's your first step. Get a loop. Or in like Easy Drummer or whatever, create a groove and play to that. So that's the first step. The second step is, if you're having trouble particularly singing, drop the key. Drop the key. And sometimes it's just a half step. But you know what? Sometimes it's like 2 full steps to really, because it's not about who can blow people away anymore, right? People aren't really... Are people trying to be Mariah Carey or whoever? That's not the goal. The goal is communication and trying to make people feel something, right? So sometimes you got to really go out there. And I would suggest dropping it. Try a half step first, then go down to a full step, and then go down to 2 steps. And then if you have to come back up a step, fine. But you'll be surprised. The intimacy of the message changes when you drop the key. If you're using MIDI instruments, this is no problem. You just drag them down a step or 2 and you're good. That's why I want you to think about this before you put down any acoustic instruments other than drums, because then that would be a pain to have to re-record them. But my experience has been, when I'm having trouble with a vocal or just with a song overall, after I've reevaluated the tempo, my next step is always the key. And almost 100% of the time, I'm dropping it at least 1 step. And lately, it's been 2, because I'm not trying to be a pop star. I'm trying to communicate. I'm trying to make it as close to the listener as possible. So hopefully, those 2 tips briefly will help you in the future if you ever find that you're struggling, you're having a hard time, or it's just not getting there for you. Take a look at the tempo. Play around with it a lot. Don't rush it. and then look at your key, and you might be surprised, because it's all about communication and it's all about making people feel something. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know.